My name is Kirsta Fout, and this is my EDU 5200 field placement video. For my field placement hours, I went to Redwood Elementary School. Redwood is a Title I school, and it's actually very diverse. If you look upon the school's home website, you will find that there are 32 different spoken languages throughout the school. Now, of course, we know living in Utah that a large percentage of this is Spanish speaking and also English speaking, but they also have languages in there like Arabic, Vietnamese, they have Tongan. They have a really wide variety, which makes it very diverse. But in the classroom I was specifically doing my hours at, it was a first grade classroom, and I had 4 EEL students, 3 girls and 1 boy. They were all Spanish speaking students. So I noticed that the boy tends to be very quiet and he keeps to himself. When I work with him one-on-one, it takes him a while to open up to me and to start talking, and I think this might be because he has a fear of sounding wrong. And then there are 2 girls that are also in resource. Now I know this because my field placement, the homeroom teacher, she let me know that they did not attend kindergarten. So fundamentally, they're very far behind when we're looking at their classmates because they are just learning to write their name. They're just learning the letters of the alphabet. They're learning how to count while their peers are doing math and writing sentences. They're really struggling. One of the girls is pretty good at conversational English, but I noticed she struggles with academic English, especially with writing. She doesn't really know how to put what she's saying into written form. The other girl struggles a lot with English. She actually doesn't really speak it at all. She has her friend talk for her, or if she says something wrong, her friend will correct her, and she'll just nod in agreement and not try to correct herself. And she responds in Spanish most of the time. And then the third girl, she actually talks pretty well for an EL student. Again, I think it's more academic. So I noticed she's slower than her peers, and I think that's just because she's struggling with the language barrier. But she does pretty well talking one-on-one. She can hold a conversation. All 4 of the students also go out of the classroom for an hour a day with the EEL teacher, and they work on their language and writing and stuff with her there. The first example I have is I came into the classroom one day and 4 of the students had lost their teeth. I guess it was a great day for that, and they were all very excited, and my EEL student was a boy, was one of them, and he came up shouting to me, teacher, I lost my teeth." So in this sentence we can see that he has using the correct pronoun of I, which is pretty good when we're thinking about sentence structure and sentence diagramming, because I notice a lot of these students tend to say me. And then we have losted. So, and I think here he's just trying to use the past tense of lost, and he's trying to stick an ed in there because he's learning these suffixes and prefixes, and he's throwing them in when they're not needed to be thrown in. And then we have teeth. So he's using plurality when really we only want to use one, which is tooth, but honestly, for him, I think it's really good for sentence structure because he's getting his message across, and it's something we can understand what he's trying to say. For correcting him, I didn't go one by one and tell him every word he got wrong. I just simply restated his sentence back to him and asked him a question. So I said, "Oh, that's awesome. You lost your tooth. How did you do it? Did it hurt?" So this way it's more focused on modeling. For the second example, I had a girl sitting in circle time, and she raised her hand to comment on what the teacher was talking about. The teacher was reading them a book, and she just asked them if they've ever experienced something like this before. And the little girl raised her hand and she said, "Oh, my brother does that." So here we have structured variants. Instead of saying brother, she said brudder. So actually, I think this is a common thing that a lot of kids do. I don't even think it's more of a thing that just EEL students do. So depending on that fact alone, it's pretty good for her, and to hear her talking out loud in class is also really good. I didn't correct her in this situation just because I wasn't their homeroom teacher and I was more simply observing. So the homeroom teacher just, like I did modeling, simply corrected her and asked her, "Oh, what did your brother say?" or "What did your brother do?" So that way it's not, putting them on the spot in the classroom, which at this age, it's a very vital age for them to not feel embarrassment. We want them to feel comfortable in the classroom. So I think that was a great way to do that. Okay, so for the writing example, I took a picture of their writing because they needed to turn it in, and I blew it up on the computer and printed it out. So here's this. In their circle time, they're learning about weather, and that's a first grade standard. So every day they're going through and they're looking at what the weather patterns are outside, and on this particular day it was raining. So we had the class write down what the weather was like outside and draw pictures. So my EEL student drew this picture of the rain, which we don't really need to see. She has an umbrella. The writing is what we're focused on, and she says it is raining I think this is today. Sorry, that's backwards. But here, for writing one sentence, it's actually pretty good for them. I know we're supposed to have them write multiple sentences, but these students are struggling with writing one sentence. But here we have some pretty good sentence structure. She's got capitalization, she's got a period, she has it is spelled out correctly, which is great. We have raining, which we can see phonetically, she's got her sounds there. So she has the R and the G, she's got the ending right. It's a little mixed up, but like phonetically she's getting the sounds there, which is what we want them to do at this age so that they can learn how to spell on their own. And then we have an O here. I'm not really sure why, and I think this is supposed to say today. So she's got the two really syllabic words, the more express syllable words here with the T and the D in today, but the S, I'm not really sure where that comes from, but granted that she is an EL in first grade, this is actually pretty good. And I don't think the teacher went on to correct these. If I was a teacher, I don't think I would go through and correct their spelling. I feel like that's more so to do with their spelling checks rather than just writing sentences, so I honestly would just check it off. I don't think she needs to be corrected on every single little mistake that she does. Okay, thank you.